long you're going to stay in that stage is what you can control.
Right.
Because what happened, you cannot control. It happened, take it. But how long you're going to stay on that stage of feel miserable and feel guilty and feel destroyed is what you can control.
Hey, good morning, leaders. It is another episode of Levelin Up with Brigham Blackham. I'm so grateful to have an opportunity to speak with Wanda Carrasquillo, one of my great friends. She's someone that got me into this entrepreneurial space. So grateful to have a conversation with her today. We're going to talk about 3 keys to build resilience you didn't learn in school. And who better to teach it and to talk about this topic than someone that's so resilient, so passionate about all the different elements of business. She is an entrepreneur. She's an amazing mother, amazing grandmother. She's someone that knows how to be resilient in so many aspects of life. So grateful to have her on the call today. How are you doing today, Wanda?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for asking. Yeah, that's exactly my first topic, right?
Absolutely.
Being positive. It doesn't matter what the life threw at you, is how you take it. Okay. So
for sure.
I have 3 points that I want to bring today for this goal and resilience. And one is cultivate positive mindset.
Yes, cultivating a positive mindset. So let's first start off with a little bit more of your backstory for those of us that aren't maybe as familiar with you, because I know you're from Puerto Rico. You've had a great background in education, and now you're in this entrepreneurial space, changing lives by sharing amazing products with them. Tell us a little bit about how you got into that, and then we're going to dive straight in there.
Yes, I think that I learned that from my grandparents.
Yeah.
Because my grandparents from both sides of my parents, my father's parents, and then my mom's parents, both of them have businesses. So since I was, little, they run businesses. On my mom's side, my grandpa had a store where he sold Bibles and books, like church books. And then my grandma from my mother's side we call it bazaar, which is a small store in the neighborhood where people came to get some needs, little things. It wasn't a big thing. It's only like a square store, but she taught me how to count backwards to give change, to take the change. So it's quite interesting. And then on my dad's side, my grandma, who I'm always talking about her because she passed away on 2021 at the age of 105. Wow. She always cooked and did something to create money and to receive money. And his service was paid if she ironed clothes for people, or if she cooked for people, or did something, or I think my dad said that she used to do like ice cream, and then my dad went and sold ice creams and things like that. And my grandpa, he was selling vegetables and fruits. So all the time I saw that since I was little. So growing up, I was always in this desire to always selling or do something. So I'm always like, even in school, I was selling something, selling jewelry, selling perfume, selling anything possible that I can sell, as long as it was legal and moral and ethical. I was selling something. So I think that was in me, to be entrepreneurial and stuff.
Wanda, this just reminded me of an experience I had when I was living in Ogden. This is kind of silly, but we had this cute little, I think he was Puerto Rican as well. He's a cute little boy, and he would come and he would knock on our door, and he had this bag full of tamales, and he'd be like, "Hey, you want to buy tamales?" And I was like, "Where are your parents?" And he's like, "Oh, they're in the van. You want to buy tamales?" I was like, "How much are they?" $20. And I got like 10 tamales. I was like, "This is a great deal. They're warm and I love them." And it was so cute that I was like, I can't say no to this.
Yeah.
but I love to see the entrepreneurial mindset being instilled in children.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you had that growing up as well. So as you went through your career, I know as a teacher, we don't always think in an entrepreneurial mindset. So how did you get back to that after you went through your teaching career?
Well, and I got into a career because my dad was always telling me, hey, you need to get an education and have more stable salary, right? And he went to college and finished college in his 30s. So he was already married and have children and everything. So it was hard for him to really accomplish that and work and provide and go to school. So he told me, you need to get a good education. And as a matter of fact, he was on this 40-40 plan where he got the education, he got on a job, and he retired 40 years later.
Wait a minute, you
And
said the 40-40 plan. So the
yes,
first 40 years is that 40 hours a week? Is that what you mean?
and you study, right? And then you work 40 hours a week for 40 years to receive 40% of your salary.
Oh, that sounds like a bad plan.
So, yeah, so that's what my dad did, and he wanted to instill that to his children. So I went to college, and I have a good education, and I, got good jobs. But inside of me, nothing really fulfilled me. And I kept going to college and getting another degree or getting another endorsement. In school, you have endorsements and you get recertified every so often. So I'm always learning, just to knock another door and try to move ahead. But you always have a glass ceiling, and that's it.
I noticed that with teaching as well. Like, it didn't matter how many endorsements you have, you're
Yes.
still at
The
that
same
exact
rank.
level, depending on how much
Yes.
time you've put into the system. That's it. Not how good of a teacher you are, not how well you serve your students, only how much time have you put into the system, which
Correct.
it doesn't incentivize the right things. But you said you're endorsed in multiple things. I know Spanish was one of them. What are some of the other endorsements?
Spanish, computers, science. And science, they divided in 3 different aspects. So biology, physics, and chemistry. So I have in Utah, I used to have like 8 endorsements.
Wow.
And computers, computer science, biology, chemistry, or ESL, like English as a second language. So that's another one. It's anyway, but it didn't take me anywhere.
Right.
Because I was in the same pay scale. You just add a little bit of money just when you pass for the next year. Having all these endorsements didn't give me any raise, significantly.
Right.
So that's why I always was looking for another company that helped me to supplement my income. And it was not until I found real estate investing, I started looking for real estate investing, and I found Renatus, and I started studying and learning more. Because at that moment, I was like, do I go back to college and finish my degree, or do I change the careers completely? Yeah. And I decided to change careers because the return on investment, it was going to be greater than going back to college, spend another $50,000, put more money into my student loans, and spend 3 years of my life.
Yeah.
And then in real estate, I finished my fix and flip like in 3 months. And I started doing my deals, and I was making more money like that. And eventually, then I lost my job, and then I decided to market the school, and first 8 months, 6-figure income. So I found that the return
Pause for a second. That's amazing. She just kind of brushed over that. She's like, oh yeah, only 8 months, 6-figure income. How long would it have taken you as a teacher to get 6 figures in 1 year? Just curious.
2 years.
20 years. So you
2 years,
skipped ahead.
2 years. No, 2 years.
Oh, 2 years. No. So that
I was a school teacher, but then I moved to the university level, so I was getting better pay at the university. But the same thing, you get to a high, the glass ceiling. So I left the school system and then moved to the university academia. And yes, I was making better, but not 6-figure. So it would have taken me a year and a half to get that 6-figure.
A year and a half. So like totally changed your financial situation, being able to market the education and then applying it in fix and flips, just so people can know how cool you are, because I already know how cool you are. How many deals have you actually completed to this point?
45,
And
45 deals.
45 real estate transactions. And how many years have you been part of this?
8.
8. So in 8 years, 45 transactions. Now, every single one of those was perfect, right? You never lost any money, right?
No, no, they are not perfect. And as a matter of fact, my encouragement now with Celario is like, hey, we need to start rethinking where we put our energy and how we produce. And yes, I have made a lot of money, but I lost a lot of money, and it's not fun. And that brought me to a reality. You know, I used to do these calls on Thursdays, and suddenly I got to the point that I couldn't give more because the situation that I put myself into, because I cannot blame anybody.
Yeah.
Then I got into a depression stage, and I couldn't do anything for about 6 months
Now,
until
I'm
I
curious,
realized.
Wanda, do you think other people have ever had that same thing where they're like, things are going super well. I love it. I'm doing so well in this. And then they get hit with something and it just
Yep.
takes them out of the game for a time.
Yes. And
How have you
it
been able to-
happened.
Oh, yeah.
I
Go
think
ahead.
it happened to not only us here as a community. I have talked to so many other investors in this community that are going right now through similar situations, and others that are about to get to the situation and
Right.
things like that. And it's not easy, but I think what it brings, at least what it brings to me, is humbling myself, understanding other people, be more compassionate, be more considerate of other situations. Because sometimes we feel, oh, we are up here and we cannot put ourselves in other people's shoes. But I take this as, no, why this is happening to me, why this is happening for me, and
That's
what
such
am
a
I
good distinction.
learning.
Not just to me, but for me. I love that.
Exactly.
That's so good.
And what am I learning through the process, and who I'm becoming. And I think I qualify myself as a good person, but can I be better? Definitely, yes. You can always, always, always have room for improvement. And that's why we're here, just to continue improving. So I'm so blessed that this situation happened, and that now I get up. I'm not in bed anymore, but I was in bed like for about 6 months, just having a pity party.
Pity
For
party. Oh, man.
pity party.
I feel like everybody at times does those little pity parties. It's a common human experience that we get down on ourselves and we start comparing ourselves to others, and we get in that comparative reality. Well, I should be, out there making more money, or I should be doing more fix and flips. I should, all these different things, and you should all over yourself.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
so important to not let should be that shame word that it always appears in our life. So Wanda, if you don't mind, let's talk a little bit more about resilience, because I know it gets so hard at times in business, especially for entrepreneurs that it's new. I still feel new at this at times. It is very difficult to be resilient if your mindset isn't right. So
okay.
when you hear the word resilience, let's start that. What does resilience mean to you? And then we'll start playing with some of those strategies.
Yeah, to me, is strength. It's just how I can't fall down and get up even faster. That's, to me, resilience. Just how can I take whatever comes to me and being able to overcome it. That's very simple.
Bouncing back after you get knocked down. I love that visual. Like if someone gets knocked off a horse, you hear this expression, get back on the horse. But what is it that you are riding? Are you in the vehicle of real estate? Are you in the vehicle of education? What is it that you're in the vehicle of? And if that vehicle crashes for a time, are you going to stay in the crash site, or are you going to get up, get another vehicle, or even repair that vehicle and get back on the road? I love this idea of resilience. So let's start with this first strategy. I love what you brought up. Tell us a little bit more about how resilience shows up in your life? This first secret, go ahead.
Yeah, to me, the first secret is actually to cultivate a positive attitude. So do not just, yes, and allow yourself to cry, and if you have to, obviously, because we are human,
Let the
it
tears
soak
come,
in,
right?
yes. But how you're going to stay in that stage is what you can control.
Right.
Because what happened, you cannot control. It happened, take it. But how long you're going to stay on that stage of feel miserable and feel guilty and feel destroyed is what you can control. And I allow it for about 6 months, honestly. And Scarlett is here, and we had many conversations. And I'm blessed for this community, because even Michael, at many occasions, he's like, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like, "I'm here in bed, crying myself off. Do you know that I'm gonna be homeless? Do you know that I'm gonna?" And I'm just, having this pity party and all these complainings and all these, miserable words, when I normally know that kind of person. I'm normally very positive, but I allow that negativity to sink in and to overwhelm me to a point that I wasn't functioning for 6 months. I wasn't thinking, I wasn't doing anything, until I have to say, well, I'm going to take what is coming now. And it's lost everything. I lost everything. And I live now in a van by the river. By the river
down by the river.
That is something that Michael sent me, and it's this guy that said, "I live in a van by the river." I'm just giving it as a joke, but it's funny. But I feel it's not easy, I'm telling you, but it's something that I dream of, because I had on my dream board that I wanted to live a van lifestyle. But the van that I wanted, obviously, was my Mercedes van, which is coming. It's parked right by the dealership nearby. And I drive by every morning, and I'm like, that's my van, and that's my van, and it's parked there. I'm coming to get it very soon. And I'm having that positive vibe back in my life. And I know I'm going to reach that, because I had that in my vision board for a long time. I'm just going to do now whatever it takes to obtain it. And being in bed and in a negative is not going to get it.
So Wanda, one
to
second.
change.
Let's back up just for a second. I love this idea of cultivating a positive attitude, because it's one thing to have a positive attitude. If you've already got it, then fantastic. But a lot of times you can think of it as planting seeds. And positivity is every time you read a book, every time you read a different audio or listen to an audio program that inspires you. Every single time we take something in and we're like, oh, that's a seed of hope. That's another seed of hope. We pray, we read the scriptures, we do whatever it is that is going to help us cultivate that positive attitude and that outlook that, you know what, the trials, the muck, the mess that we're in, that's part of our message. I was listening to a couple different social media things yesterday, and one of them was talking about how this entrepreneur, even though he's extremely successful now, you may have heard of Alex Hormozy, for the first few months of his business, he was homeless, living in his gym on the floor. How many of us at times think, because I've hit rock bottom, I can't go on? I know I've had those thoughts before. Even in my own business, I've had months where I didn't get to pay myself anything. And that's really disheartening. But it's in those times when you hit the floor that you get to decide, am I going to have this be something that happens for me, or I'm going to have this just happen to me? And when you decided, you know what? I can't get any worse. Fantastic. It can't get any worse. Let's go forward. Let's make the best of this situation. And I love this idea of cultivating. So Wanda, when you say cultivate a positive attitude, what are some of your favorite things that you do to cultivate that positive attitude?
And it's the smile that you can put every morning. When I my hardest time of the day right now is when I need to find a place to park at the night, at night to feel safe. Okay. So I have found a couple spots, and remember, I'm now in a city that I don't know. I decided to be nearby Michael, and I don't know Georgia. This is my first time here, and I just don't know the surrounding areas. And that put me in a very difficult situation because since I don't know what areas can be better or not, I don't know places, it's difficult. So every night, just trying to find a parking spot where nobody will come and bug me or wake me up in the middle of the night or try to steal something from me or do something to me is the most difficult part. So I'm trying to set a system, but once I find that spot, that's where home is to me. But be grateful for it. Last night, the last 2 nights I've been staying in front of the gym. So it's safe for me because it's a 24-hour gym, so people come in and out. So I try to find a parking spot that doesn't have too much lights and so on. But last night it was raining. And I was just, listening to the rain and being so grateful for that. And I'm like, I still have a roof over my head because I'm inside in my van. But when I see some other people who are really, really, really homeless that don't even have a car, that gives me more compassion. And, it's humbling. It's just something that you say, I'm blessed. I have money to buy my food, so I don't have to have a sign and go to the street and say I'm hungry. So there are worse situations.
Right.
For wherever I am right now, I need to be blessed and I need to be happy. And when you cultivate that everything is positive. Sometimes I talk to some people that, oh no, and complain. I don't want to hear it because I know I can do something that is possible and be positive. Right now we are developing and building Celario. There's so much money there that I know is possible. It's possible for me to hit those ranks. And I don't want to hear anything else. I just want to concentrate on helping people. And my tree is growing and growing. And I just want to say, you know what? I look at my tree. The whole day yesterday, I was looking at my tree because you have to balance and it's kind of a game. And I'm thinking about each one of those people that have been placed in my life. I'm going to work so hard to make sure that none of them be without a home. So, and that's when you cultivate positive attitude. That's everything that you do to improve the life of others. That's positive attitude.
And that comes down to a deeper meaning than just like what happens to you. Like you think about how often mothers and grandmothers, they sacrifice and they sacrifice and they sacrifice for their kids. Sometimes we shelter people from the consequences of life, but we don't have to shy away because those consequences can actually be instructive. And having this experience, Wanda, it's going to make you even better. And for me, I'm living in my mother-in-law's house right now because she's on a mission, right? And my father-in-law. And I sold my house, contract for deed, which made the entire purchase of the education totally worthwhile for me. Just that one deal. It's crazy. One real estate deal can change everything. But living in a different house, different situation, new neighborhood, I feel you. Sometimes because you don't know a lot of people in that area, there's a certain level of anxiety, but there's also a certain level of excitement. And we can shift that anxiety to excitement. It's just like how stage fright is just excitement in different clothing. So I want to actually, oh, go ahead.
No, that is actually a great segue to move to the second topic,
Perfect. Let's go there.
which is building strong relationships.
Oh, so important. Strong relationships. Yes.
Yes. And that's exactly what you were saying. You know, we are in different new places. You don't know that many people. I don't know pretty much anybody here. I know people in the community like Michael and Gamer and Ladero, but those were the three that I knew here. And then suddenly I'm starting to build more relationships, learning other people, and meeting new people. Today I had the experience before I went to nationals. I sorry, I bought a membership at the gym, right? So I can take a shower and get clean. So it's not so much about getting my exercise done, but I'm getting into a routine at least to do 30 minutes exercise, which is helping me physically, and it's important to put it on my daily routine, right?
Yeah.
But mostly I go to the gym because I need to get cleaned up.
That's all right.
But I'm integrating my exercise. So when I was, at the gym, then I hear this girl talking to someone. And this is before going to nationals. So get this connection. When you are doing the right thing, you get into a vibe that you become attractive to things that are happening. So I hear her talking to a friend, and she's speaking in Spanish, saying, "Oh, I just been so depressed. I went to the psychiatric, and they want to put me in pills, and I don't want to take pills." And I heard her doing all of that, and I just remember Drive. I'm like, oh man, if she can just Drive, she will be better off. And I'm like, how I can interrupt her? She's talking and FaceTiming with someone. So I'm like slowly kind of following her, and we got to leave the gym, and she was starting to walk this way, and my car is this other way. I'm like, I gotta talk to this girl. I said, excuse me, I don't mean to, be like intruding your life or anything, but I overheard you talking about your stress and so on, and I just want to give you this document. So I gave her the actual fingerprinting, because remember back in the days when Woody was doing the emotional fingerprinting, the website was nomortherapy.com. It doesn't exist anymore, but that was the website. So I was thinking, she doesn't need therapy, she needs Drive in her life. And so I gave it to her with that intention that she can take that assessment and work. And then obviously I wanted to tie that to Renata's, and maybe I then have the conversation to get to Renata's. But I knew from the conversation that she was going to Argentina for her birthday and so on, and I knew I was going to Utah. The thing is that I went to Utah, I came back, I've been in the gym for the last 2-3 days since I came back, and I've been thinking of her, and we're going to have a big event here in Atlanta with Bob and Woody on the 27th. So I was thinking this morning to invite her. So, and as I was thinking of her, she's walking into the gym. Wow. And I kind of look at her, but I just saw her once, like very, briefly. And I'm like, she looked like Cindy. But then I couldn't. So I'm like, I'm going to find the number to text her. So I stopped. I was looking for her number, and she recognized me. She comes back and I said, I've been looking for you. So see, when you are cultivating the relationship, when you are in the positive attitude, things are coming to you.
I love that.
You Cindy? I'm like, you're Cindy? Yes. Oh, okay. And she thought that I have changed times to come to the gym and stuff. So she's been looking for me for the last 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh, I was out of town. So now she's coming to the event on the 27th. And I was able to, we jump on the trail meals next to each other. So we kept talking and building that relationship. Look, nos vemos pronto. She just sent me a text just now.
Wow.
Do you see how this, when you are in the vibe, in the energy?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about her, and she just sent a
And she
text.
just texted you. Nos vemos pronto. I'll see you
Yes.
soon. Oh,
Yes.
that's so good.
You
You
see,
know,
that
there's no
this is a
coincidence.
perfect, no, this is a perfect example of what I'm trying to live and why things are getting better. And I don't want to brag about it or anything. I just want to be an example. I just want to touch your life like I always have in the past. I'm trying. My intention is to impact your life in a way that we can practice good relationship, we can practice good positive attitude, that we can all improve and get to the top together. Because the top is lonely if we don't work together.
Wanda, is it okay if I share with you my very favorite word for this year?
Yes.
It's guanxi. Guanxi is connection and relationship. That was the word that I chose this year for my 2024. Yeah. And the way that you brought this up, even with someone you barely met, those relationships that we create, it only takes a moment to have someone go from a stranger to a friend. Mm-hmm. And you just made a friend from that person because you added value, you solved a problem. Yes. That in business, that's really what it's about, is yes. If you can serve someone, help solve their problem in a way that they want it to be solved, game over, right? It's so good. Sometimes we solve problems that they don't even know that they have. Yes. Right? You think about Apple, they create an iPad and nobody even knows what that is, but as soon as they start using it, like, oh, I want that, I need that. Now kids need that. And we create those desires. In business, in real estate, it comes down to letting them see themselves in the picture. Some people say, hey, let's paint the picture of possibility. What if we could paint them into that picture? We could use our words, use our positivity, use our energy, use our relationships to improve that connection, that guanxi. Because guan and xi, like those, it's a system of connection. So let's go to this third point, and then we'll wrap it up. So when you talk about resilience, help us understand its final secret for you. What has helped you be so resilient in the midst of challenges?
And that's the third point, actually, which is developing coping strategies. So right now, I'm in a survivor mode, if you will. But what are the strategies that I'm developing? First is being in peace with myself. Accept the situation. Accept the situation. I was talking to one of the another colleague, and she has this situation with her son, and I got to the point I have to say, your son is in a different stage, in a different situation. You have to accept that. And like my son passed away, I have to accept that. If somebody in your life gets sick or get into a different stage, accept it. Let go the old person that you knew, and then accept the new person that this person is now in the situation that it is. And you start approaching the strategies and coping with the situation better.
Wanda, is it okay if I interrupt for just one moment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Guys, sometimes when we lose someone, like when you lost your son, we think world couldn't be worse, couldn't be more broken for us. But what's interesting is her losing her son and me losing my brother. That is the reason that we know each other. Mm-hmm. Wanda and my mom connected over the fact that they both lost boys. And because of that connection, that immediate just friendship, you went from an acquaintance, right? You barely met that person, to a friend because of that intense connection and relationship. It is the reason I'm here. The hurt that we feel, the pain that we feel, the struggle, and all of those different things that just feel like they're ripping our hearts out. Often, if we can step back and look at it, with new eyes, it will become something that happens for us. And I'm sad that I lost my brother, and I'm sure you were absolutely just
Yes.
torn up at times that you lost your son. It doesn't make it any easier, but recognizing that sometimes there's building blocks in our life. There's moments that even though they broke us down, it actually made it so that we have the ingredients to build something bigger. And so important. So what's your take on yeah.
This morning I was reflecting upon something, and I was thinking of you because it took you so long to get to 5-star, and I know you work really hard. I know I tried to help you as much as possible as you 5-star. We did so many follow-up, we did so many presentations, and nothing happened. And the situation that I'm in right now, I have to generate money through Renata, because I'm not getting another job, I'm working Celario really hard. And I got Impact 12, and I'm working for Impact 30, and so on. So that's my income stream. My real estate is all gone. I still have one deal that is going to go negative very soon because it hasn't sold for 6 months. So real estate, I'm putting it aside right now. And my bank was, my resources were really very tight, very tight. And suddenly I just opened up my Renata's back office and look at the commissions, and they were a significant amount commission. And it was because of the sale that I completed. Not so much of my effort, but because the compensation plan works that way. I was blessed to have a better amount now in my bank. And this morning I was just thinking of that. I'm like, you know what? The universe, God, however you want to call it, knows the future better than us. Knows the situation that I was going to be. I knew that I needed that commission to come now. Not yesterday, no few months later, before. It needed now. So maybe, during the process for you to become 5 stars, you learn a lot and you grew a lot. But that last commission blessed me now. And I'm thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I love you,
Wanda. That is
so
when you develop and cop strategies and just keep moving forward. There's no looking back. No looking back. Whatever happened. I don't have control of that anymore. I just need to accept it and live with it and make it better for other people.
So true. Thank you so much. That was a great summation of everything we talked about resilience. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being who you are. Despite all the challenges that we have, guys, we all will go through times when we feel like we hit the ground floor, but it's how we bounce back. When we don't have the resources, are we being resourceful? One of my favorite things. So thank you so much, Wanda, for sharing that. We love you. We got so many people in the chat saying, we love you, Wanda. You're the best. So great. Really appreciate you being here today and being willing to be vulnerable and to share some of those experiences with us. Guys, if you like this, if you love this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Continue to connect with us. We want to keep adding value to your life. And you're going to be able to hear a lot more from Wanda as you keep connecting with me, because Wanda and I, we're friends for life. She's someone that changed my life in so many different ways. I'm so grateful to have this time to spend with you today. So thank you one more time, and God bless, guys.
So